Welcome back to Straight Facts. I'm joined by Lee Gunner. Merry Christmas, first of all, my buddy. Hope you had a great festive period over there in España.
Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas to the chat. Yeah, I am in Spain, despite the fireplace being on. I always do this. How long have I been on YouTube, right? And I always get it back to front. Yeah, that fire is in a house in Spain. And I'll tell you why. Because in the winter, even though it's 24 degrees today, as soon as the sun goes down in December, January, February, it is freezing inside these apartments because they're all built of solid concrete back in the 70s with marble floor. So it is cold.
Yeah, freezing. Good.
Yeah, everyone who keeps saying I'm in England, I'm not in England.
I'm in England. I didn't think you were there, to be fair. Big show, viewers. Lots to delve into. Joao Felix reportedly agreeing to join Arsenal over Man United and Chelsea. We'll delve into that. Mykhailo Mudryk updates as well. We're going to be talking about a double bid from Chelsea for both Enzo Fernandez and Declan Rice. They're looking to buy both. We're going to take a look at life at Man United under Ten Hag. I only found this out today. Man's got a 70% win ratio. We're going to take a look at that. Arsenal, of course, flying high at the top of the league. And we are getting close to January, so we're going to find out whether Lee is closer to saying, I'm sorry, Mikel Arteta, or not.
Lee is scared. Lee is scared.
Yeah, Lee is scared of the backlash. But viewers, make sure your like buttons are being hit. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. The first thing I wanted to start off with actually was Man United. And it was Man United because we've seen we're saying we've got no money. We're not going to spend anything. We're not going to buy anybody, as an example. But I did want to ask your opinion under life at United under Ten Hag, because he's got a 70% win ratio since he arrived, which is, I mean, it's a lot better than I thought it was. We've been battered on a couple of occasions. There is no doubt. In fact, every defeat has been a battering in the Premier League. But outside of that, we've been comfortable. You know, beat Forest easily the other night, through to the latter stages of the Carabao Cup and the Europa League. How do you think life at United has begun for Ten Hag?
With drama. With drama. He's had to get rid of certain man's GOAT who was on stupid amounts of money. It was a player power versus manager power. Obviously, the manager won that one. I've seen that at my club twice with Ozil and with Aubameyang. He's now got a player in Jadon Sancho who's on top dollar, who's apparently not in the right mindset or not in the right body mass or whatever, like BMI. I don't know. Like he's training on his own. He's got some big problems at that football club, but these are problems that have been inherited. He's got to come in and sort them out. I've seen Harry Maguire linked with Tottenham. Again, Luke Shaw started over him the other night. I thought he played all right, by the way. But these are big names on big money and big transfer fees. Jadon Sancho, 70 mil, flop. Why is nobody talking about him as a flop, by the way? Because when it was Nicola Pepe, it was memes doing the rounds. It was this, but it's Jadon Sancho. Oh, he gets a pass. Yeah, nobody's mentioning him. The same as nobody mentions Kai Havertz. Like, I know Havertz scored the other night. Nice little finish as well. But when it was Nicola Pepe, everyone was on. Do you know why? Because Man United were in for Nicola Pepe and their fans had their minds set on Pepe and we stole him from under their beaks and they couldn't hack it. So every time he had a bad game, Man United fans came out. Nobody else wanted Sancho. Nobody else wanted Havertz, which is why they get a pass, Terry. Right? Now you've got Harry Maguire. Nobody else wanted Harry Maguire, which is why he's a laughing stock and he gets battered online. I hope he don't read any of the messages. But Ten Hag's had to come in there and deal with a player that I don't know whether he's not serious in terms of Sancho. Yeah, I don't know if he's not serious. I actually predicted he'd flop, by the way, and I need somebody to find that clip on my channel from when he signed. I said he will flop. Yeah, I said it. And do you know why I said it? Because that Bundesliga, people put that in the top 5 leagues in Europe. It ain't even in the top 10. It's trash. Take Bayern Munich out of it. Yeah, it's literally the Scottish 3rd division. It's crap tell. Yeah, but he's come in. He's Dutch, Terry, right? And I'm just going to say, big up all the Dutch, right? I love the Dutch because they're a little bit like me. They just shoot from the hip. They say it as it is. right? They don't hold any prisoners. If they don't like you, they're telling you. Right? He's gone in there and told Ronaldo, you ain't playing every week. You ain't good enough. He's told Jadon Sancho, you ain't fit enough. He's told Harry Maguire, you can stay captain. Yeah, but Luke Shaw's ahead of you. Yeah, so if you want to look for other clubs, feel free. He's told Gakpo, oh, we're cool. We got the same agent. Yeah, but don't worry, mate. You go and enjoy Liverpool. I love that. I love the mentality of the Dutch. And he's going to succeed. What success is at Man United, I don't know. I don't know what you fans see as success. What I see as success for Man U, win stuff. And I do think the way that you're playing, like take the Nottingham Forest game out, the way that you've played under him, yeah, I think you've had some beatings. He now knows that squad inside out. He knows what they're capable of, what their good bits and bad bits are, what players can play in certain games. People were cussing him for not playing Casemiro at the beginning. Well, I think that was a masterstroke because it could have just thrown him to the lions real quick. Yeah, I think he's a good manager, man. And I think he's got a good style of play. Yeah, a good mindset. You've got a player that I want to touch on very quickly. I know I'm diverting, but that Anthony, yeah, 90 mil. What was that performance the other night, by the way?
Mate, do you know, just so interesting, he's
just
a great...
put that out there. Could he be another Foxtel?
He could. I mean, he could. It's a great thing to bring up. And do you know what's really interesting about it? It's so much to unpack there. If we just talk the manager for a moment, the style of football is better. It's more entertaining. 70% of the games that he's played, we've won so far. And you can see progression. I think that I'm the same as you. I like his directness in terms of he's not nasty about players. He doesn't bully players. He's not saying unnecessary things in the public domain, but he does speak his mind, which is key. And you can clearly see that he's got control of that dressing room. The way he handled the Ronaldo situation, most managers in world football would not have had the balls to do that. They would have just allowed the situation to carry on. And he said no. And since it's only the first game since Ronaldo's officially been released, but we got battered. We played really poorly in the 3 or 4 games Ronaldo returned into the team in. We scraped wins. And then it ended with Villa humbling us. Ronaldo then dropped for the next 4 games. He dropped and/or out the club. Scored 11 goals, conceded just 2, 3 clean sheets, 4 wins. If you go to the games prior to that, where Ronaldo had dropped out the team again, win, 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 win. You know, one of the best away performances we've had at Chelsea. Battered Tottenham from pillar to post. We're a better team without him. So we are improving massively. And I'm really confident if we can keep the squad together, maybe add something in January, we've got a really good chance of making the top 4. But if the new owners come in, stick with Ten Hag, keep progressing, build the structure right, he could win us the major trophies, which that's how I judge overall success. Short term, looking at what he's done in 15 Premier League games, that has been successful considering where he started. In terms of the players, I've not been that impressed with Anthony yet. You're right. Started off well by scoring goals. Performances have lacked. However, he's 22 years of age, and I trust Eric Ten Hag. Can't sit there and say all that about him and then go writing off Anthony straight away. Let's give him a little bit of time. But I'm like you. I want to see more from him. What I've seen from Garnacho is what I want to see more from Anthony. Garnacho might dribble at someone 3 times in a game and it not come off, but on the 4th attempt it does, and we nearly score, or we do score. Anthony's a little bit, I didn't work once or twice. I'm now going to take...
He looks scared to take his man on, Terry.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, he does. And I want to see more... No, I do. He is. No, he did. He is scared. He is scared. Jadon Sancho, it's such an interesting one because he hasn't been good enough for Man United. He started this season off quite well and faded again. And something about him that I've said on a number of match reviews for the past 2 years is he just doesn't look physically capable of beating anyone. And then Ten Hag has kind of revealed what that is. He isn't fit enough to. So he may in a game be able to put the afterburners on and put every ounce of effort into beat a man once, twice, 3 times a lady. But then he's exhausted because he doesn't have the stamina to do that for 90 minutes. Rashford does, as an example. Saka does for Arsenal. Even though Jack Grealish hasn't been great at City, doesn't run out of steam, keeps going, keeps trying. Sancho, for me, the way he's been singled out and told, listen, you've got to get fit enough before you can even train with the first team. That's why I rate him as a manager. And if Sancho still can't turn it around, then yes, he's been a flop, but we know the reason as to why. But the message that sends to everybody else is, damn, Doesn't matter how much you came in for, what salary you're on, or your status in the game. If you don't pull your weight under Eric Ten Hag, you're gone. And I love that. We haven't had players being picked on meritocracy and via high standards at the club since Fergie left nearly 10, will be 10 years ago in May. It's been a decade, bruv, of watching players get away with blue murder. Absolute blue murder. And yeah, I'm really happy so far with life under Eric Ten Hag. And look, I hope we buy someone for him in the attacking front in January, but we know the Glazers are trying to not spend any more money because they want to sell it quickly for as much money as possible. So it's a little bit frustrating. There's no doubt. More frustrating that fans are believing the lies that we're broke, that there's no money. It's just almost like, of course, there's money. They're just not willing to bloody spend the damn thing. But we'll see what happens there. But yeah, overall, I'm happy. I can see rivals are a little bit kind of like, I wouldn't say worried per se. It's probably not the right word for it, but the way I've seen like Casemiro spoken about this week, people are like, yeah, he's a good player, but it was still a bad signing by Man United because in 4 years, 5 years time, he won't be what he is now. So it was a terrible signing. And you're like, oh, I see. I can, when you can smell the sea salt, you're like, oh, I like
Mate,
it.
It's funny because Casemiro is what, 31? 31, I think.
31, yeah.
Yeah, he's 31. Well, Modric is still going, and he's 38 this year, or next year, sorry. Yeah, so Cruz is still going. There's still players out there that are still pulling the strings. Eriksen's in his 30s. He's still doing bits at Man United, by the way. Yeah, he's playing very well. So, he's 30. There you go. He's 30. So in 4 years' time, he'll be 34. You're telling me and these are the same fans, by the way. Some of these, right? Some of these fans have Ronaldo as their GOAT, who was stinking out Old Trafford. Even though they're not United fans, Ronaldo's the GOAT. How dare you? They're the same people that are cussing Casemiro for being 30 and putting in man of the match performances. Yeah, for Man United.
I mean, the thing is, he could be gone from this level in 3 to 4 years, but he equally could do, Michael Carrick was at the top level at 36. Scholes was at 38. Look at Thiago Silva right now.
Giggsy
at 40. So we don't know. We don't know what the drop-off rate's going to be like. But we needed him in the short term. But do you know what it comes down to, though? I've got it from a lot of gooners who have
just salted that you signed Casemiro and their club didn't, Terry. He's a top player, man.
No, that's what it comes down to. And I think what happens is this. Arsenal's rebuild so far has gone very, very well. But I was chatting to a few gooners, then it went into some private messages because I kind of said to them, I want to call you out on a few things, but I don't always, when I respect someone and we're getting into a bit of an argument on Twitter, I'll always take it to DMs because I kind of feel like it shouldn't be for public consumption, if that makes sense. And I'm like, I asked him directly, I said, are you just annoyed that we're doing our rebuild differently to you and it could work maybe a season quicker? And he literally messaged back going, caught me, bruv. And I'm like, I knew it. I can just, it's just one of those things with people.
Highlight these people online, Terry. Stop being nice.
No, he's a mate. He's a mate. He's a mate. He's a mate. But I was like, I could see.
Even better, call him out.
Yeah, but you know what it is. When you can see
mates, you call me out live to thousands of people like every week. Call him out.
Yeah, but some people, me and you, we do this for a job. We can take it. Some people, they're not about that life, bruv. You know what I mean? But listen, 100%.
They should stop talking silly talk then and trash talk. Yeah, Casemiro is a top player. Right, people like I see people in the chat saying Partey and Rodri and this and that. Yeah, right. Listen, Thomas Partey can't stay fit for more than 5 games. Like when Thomas Partey can stay fit for a whole season and then stay fit for a second season and then maybe a third season, maybe we can put him on the same bracket as Casemiro. Because if we go back on Casemiro's career, 5 Champions League, multiple titles, this and that, he has been top. Yeah, Rodri, I like Rodri, top player. But if you had to ask who is the best DM on the planet, I'd say it's probably still, and not even DM, because he ain't even a DM really, is he? He's a bit of everything. He's at that end flicking headers on into the goal. He's winning corner. He's a box to box more than a DM. And I'd say Casemiro still the top. I'd say who else is there? Rodri and Partey are probably the only ones who could get near him. But they're not near him now based on his career and the longevity and the trophies.
Yeah, I think there's what you've done in the Premier League versus overall career. I just look at Casemiro and it's a case of some people are annoyed he's at Man United. Some people are annoyed because United have gone about their rebuild in a different way. But then the question is, have we? Because initially, Arteta thought that William was going to add that bit of experience whilst bringing through the youngsters, and you tried to. Like Arsenal tried having older players with their youngsters to begin with. The ones they picked just didn't work. Doesn't mean it won't work for somebody else, and that isn't a dig at anybody's approach. There's just more than one way to skin a cat. And initially, we were going to go for De Jong, who is a world-class player but young. Didn't happen, so we reconfigured. And the club ideally would have loved to have signed Casemiro at 25, not at 30, turning 31.
Yeah, this is like when we went to Barcelona. Just like when we went to Barcelona and Cesc Fabregas thought we were buying him back. And he phoned Wenger up and said, "Are you in for me?" And they were like, "No." Wenger said, "No, we're in for Sanchez, Alexis." Yeah, it's like sometimes you go to a club with the idea of looking at a player and they say, "You can't have him." Yeah, but you can have him. It happens all the time, Terry. Yeah, and listen, don't. I remember when you signed him for 60 mil, everyone was laughing. I was sitting there, why are you laughing? We signed Ben White for 50. Like, who would you rather have? And to be fair, Ben White's been brilliant. That's not even a diss on it. He's been brilliant this season at right back. But who would you rather have for that level of price?
Mate, it just generally comes down to, I totally get that United have had 4 failed projects or 3 failed projects. This is the 4th project. We've spent big on big name players in the past and it hasn't worked. So I do get the criticism from that point of view. But look, it's turned out to be a very good signing. I think the start of him under nobody's salty over United rebuild, Terry. Nobody. Then they're definitely
Was that an Arsenal fan? Was that an Arsenal?
Yeah, but this is the point.
That's because we're top. Big up to NN Gouda. We're top, baby.
But even then,
if you're an Arsenal fan, Terry.
No,
when we become salty, that's when you know. That's when you know you're back. Yeah, because we're top at the moment. If we slow down and end up sliding down the table, listen, I'm riding the wave at the minute. The club are doing what I want them to do. So I'm zip. They're shutting me up. Big up to them, right? But when Arsenal fans slightly become salty about Man United, yeah, en masse, not just one here and there, but when they become salty en masse, not just slagging players off because of internet banter, that's when you know United are back. And that's when you know you're back up there and you're challenging or you're in the debate, you're in the conversation. The same with Arsenal. Listen, I've slagged Arsenal off for years, and rightly so as well, because they've been a shambles. They have been a shambles, and so has Man United. Terry, we grew up on this rivalry of Arsenal United competing for titles. Then Chelsea and City come along. Everyone made it about, oh, but you can't compete financially. Well, yes, you can. Yes, you can compete. Yeah, you can compete in different ways. You might not be able to compete financially, but you compete in other ways. How have Atleti got in the conversation with the 2 biggest clubs on the planet? Because they found a way of competing and shithousing their way to titles and trophies and being in Champions League. So you can find a way. So when Man United, if they keep Ten Hag and Ten Hag gets his own way for the next, 18 months, next 3 transfer windows, 4 transfer windows, I think that you should then be calling Ten Hag out and saying, yo, title. Yeah, and I believe that. And if he's in a title race, I think you'll see a lot of other fans, Man City, Newcastle will probably be up there by then. We may still be up there by then. I think you'll see a lot of rival fans sitting there going, yo, yeah, actually, yeah. And they'll start getting salty over it.
Listen, I agree. I think I've seen a handful of Arsenal fans do it, isolated ones, but majority of Arsenal fans couldn't care less. They're top of the league. It's the teams that are below us that didn't expect to be at this point. Or if you go back to a lot of channels and preseason predictions, people were saying United 7th, 8th at best. Some were not even saying top 10. Suddenly that we're 1 win away from going into 4th place and knocking Spurs out the top 4, being in front of Chelsea and Liverpool as it stands. And that's why I set a lot of people up at the start of the season. They were saying how bad we were. I'm like, so if Man United finish ahead of you, most embarrassing season in your history, yeah, 100%, 100%. And that's all on record. That's why I did it. That's why I sat and held back. And I'll let you guys do this, because if we do manage to have a better season than you, oh boy, I'm coming.
Viewers, sorry to cut you off, right? Just think, right? When Man United start doing what Arsenal are doing now, you can do this all over again. They're scared. You can repackage it for Man United.
Someone says 15 games. I know it's 15 games, and that's why my question to Lee was, what do you make of life so far for Man United under Ten Hag? It's a so far conversation. The difference is, though, my friend GR, is that some people are bitter because United being where we are now, they didn't predict. If you're predicting
I'm
this finishing,
actually happy for Man
yeah,
United. I
but
can't lie.
the point is though, if you predicted Man United to finish 10th at the start of the season, you would not therefore after 15 games expect them to be 1 point away from the Champions League. So come on now, my friend. Just admit that you've got it wrong so far. Some comments here we'll go to. If they're not related to the conversation we're on, we'll save your super chats for later. But one here says, Lee, bring the vlogs back, mate. That's to you.
The second channel will be up and running from January, but it won't be vlogs. It'll be reaction videos to all sorts. So go and subscribe.
There we go. TJ says Kimmich was the best DM ever. People don't watch, but is what he says.
Kimmich plays in a league where you can go and play Union Berlin and slap them 8-0, my friend. Where is there 8-0s in the Premier League other than the 9-0 against Bournemouth this season? You don't see 8s and 9s all the time. That Bundesliga is trash. I'm sorry, that league is trash. Yeah, Kimmich is good. I'm not taking nothing away from him, but that league is doggers, mate. It is crap. I'd put the Portuguese league above that.
Wow.
Mate, they're more technically gifted.
Hassan here, sorry, says Havertz scored and won the Champions League final. That paid off his price tag. Don't compare him to Pepe. I still love you, Lee. Is what Hussein says here.
The same, but that Champions League goal, off of the back of that, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer got a managerial job at Man United. So in 20 years' time, Havertz for manager, yeah?
Israel here says Ten Hag's football is working very quickly. Imagine what United will be if he gets more of the players he wants. Exactly. I completely agree. Safe here says, Lee, are you in Milton Keynes? You cannot be in Spain. That is not your house. I think you're at your girlfriend's house in Milton Keynes.
He can't even spell Milton Keynes. And and it's literally half a kilometre away from where I live, mate.
And he and he lives in Spain. Viewers, make sure like buttons are being smashed. Make sure you're subscribing to the Football Terrace. Israel says, is it safe to say the top 3 DMs in the world are in the Premier League? Probably. I mean, if someone said Casemiro, Rodri, and who's the other one?
Partey, maybe.
Partey.
Partey's brilliant, but he needs to have the consistency of staying fit.
If somebody named that as their top 3 centre backs, nobody would say you're CDM. Sorry, nobody would say you're crazy. So yeah, I think you could make that argument, my friend. You could. Before we move on to Arsenal, I wanted to ask you about Chelsea because they won their first game back, their first win in 6 games, which is crazy when you actually break it down. The big reports today that I've seen the major Chelsea support sort of accounts sharing and talking about is that not only are they looking at Enzo for 100-odd million, they also still want Declan Rice. And there's talk of over the January and summer windows, £200 million being spent on Enzo and Declan Rice. Of course, they're both different types of midfield players, so that works. Are Chelsea going to do this? Do you think Chelsea are going to go that big under Todd B and bring both in for 200 mil?
I don't know if they get both, but they're going to go big. I said this to you when the takeover happened. He's got to get them fans on side real quick, and he ain't really done that yet, has he? Like they've sacked Thomas Tuchel. Yeah, a lot of fans are up in arms over that. The summer window just gone. They've signed Aubameyang, who was sat on the bench the other night. I watched their game the other night, and they were all right in stages. They look very good in stages, but they also look very sloppy in stages. They need some work in that team. I see a lot of people lighting up the chat with Kante talk and all that. Listen, Kante's been a fantastic footballer for a long, long time. Kante's finished. Yeah, he's done. Kovacic is a very good footballer. But again, the guy can't stay fit. They need midfielders. Yeah, they've got Reece James out now. Again, he comes back after 6 weeks of no football. Well, maybe even longer than that because he was injured before, which is why he never went World Cup. He plays 1 game and now he's injured again. Like they need to make a statement. And after having nearly 20 years of Roman, like doing above and beyond, he's got to do something. And let's be real, Terry, their academy makes them a fortune every single season with the players that nobody's heard of sold to whoever for like 5 mil, 10 mil.
Yeah.
I think Tomori went for 30 mil. Like they get players out the door, which balances the books. They're going to go big. But is Potter the guy? Potter's never never been at this level. I rate Potter. I think he's a very good manager. I think the way they played the other night, they, like I said, in stages, it was coming together. Like, look at Havertz's goal. Fantastic goal. Yeah, that was prime Potter football at Brighton. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I think the next 2 windows, you're going to see how serious this Todd Bowley is and how serious Chelsea are. There's a lot of Chelsea fans that don't want Potter as manager. There's a lot of Chelsea fans that don't want the owner there. But if he goes out there and drops Enzo Fernandez and Declan Rice, instantly they're a miles better club. They're a miles better football team because you can take out 2 of their midfielders. Mason Mount's another one. I know he scored a cracking goal the other night, right? And I actually think he's a good player. But where do you play him? 1 minute he's playing number 10, then he's number 8. He's trying to be the Frank Lampard all over. You ain't Frank Lampard. You're never going to be Frank Lampard. And he needs to find his way in that club. And I think that the way that club has been under Roman, if Roman was still there, I think Mason Mount would have gone already. Yeah, I think they would have cashed in on him. Somebody would have bid for him and he would have gone. And they would have already gone out there and got the next best player. They could go in for Jude Bellingham. Who knows? You know, and these are signings. Yeah, and I know they're all 3 slightly different types of players. But imagine they went and got Rice, Bellingham and Fernandez. That's one of the best 3 in midfields in the world. So if they went and got 2, let's take Bellingham out and they're linked to the 2. Let's say they go and do 100 mil on the pair, on each of them, yeah? Terry, that's a lot of dough, first and foremost, right? But it makes them instantly better. Instantly better. Well, you can't keep relying on Kovacic. As good as he is, he's always injured. Mason Mount will play 3 great games and then be trash for 7. Yeah, but because these fangirls, boys and girls, fancy him. Oh, it's Mason Mount. He scored. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like it's a bit of a weird one. Chelsea need a lot of work. Yeah, and I don't think people understand how much work Chelsea need. Potter's gone in there with a team that's aging, that's not that great. That Thomas Tuchel, I wouldn't say fluke to Champions League, but he just did something that Di Matteo did. It was like, get everyone on side. Let's just go on it, and we'll ride off of the back of it. Purple patch. He ended up winning the Champions League. He was getting them to all these finals, and big up to him, yeah. But Graham Potter's got a lot of work to do, and I think they're going to go down this route of maybe giving him a little bit of time. But I think they're going to throw a lot of money at it because the owner needs to prove himself to the fan base because their fans are ruthless, mate. Yeah, they don't take the mick. Like, and over the last 20 years, they've had an owner that when they riot, the owner backs it. Yeah, now when they're rioting and saying, get this out, get out, the owner's sitting there going, well, we can't really do all of this. Now, if he drops a couple of big boy signings in there, that shuts them up for a minute. Now it's down to the managers to then get the best out of them. I do think Declan Rice will go there. I don't think it'll happen in January. I think that'll be a summer signing. I don't think Enzo Fernandez is going there, though. I don't think they'll get him. I think if I'm a footballer right now and I'm looking at Chelsea and I'm looking at Liverpool, I'm looking at the 2 managers. And as much as I rate Potter, I'm picking Klopp. So I think he will go and play for Klopp. I think he will sign for Liverpool. But if Declan Rice, he's probably not got Liverpool on the radar, but he's a Chelsea fan. And I think he will go there. I do think they'll sign Rice, but they ain't signing Fernandez, mate. And let me say this here. Fernandez ain't going for 100 mil either. Yeah, yes, that's his buyout and all of that. He ain't going for 100 mil. No way. He'll go for about 70 plus add-ons or something. So in terms of the whole package, if he hits the trajectory and the club do, then it might be 100. He's going for about 70, Terry. Yeah, that buyout clause thing, it's like same in Spain. Like there's certain players in Spain with 500 million buyout. You ain't buying them for that. Like that's just to protect the value and to protect the club.
Yeah, listen, I think Liverpool have definitely got a chance. There was big reports, of course, during the World Cup from Argentina that they'd already had like an agreement in principle to get that deal done. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up at Liverpool. Another name, Declan Rice just won't go away, no matter who the manager is, who the owners are. Declan Rice to Chelsea. I swear it's been 3 years running now where it's been a potent, big deal. But another name that I was told about today was Caicedo to Chelsea. That he could be another option for them. They were looking at 40, 45 mil. Brighton have been very public. They've briefed the media directly on this. They've said, listen, we're taking no less than £70 million for him because we know how much everybody wants him. But he's another one who, again, is a cheaper option on paper than a Declan Rice, cheaper paper on option on paper than Enzo. But again, I do think Chelsea are going to sign two of those three, or one of those three, and somebody like they're going to sign two big money midfielders. And when I say big money, 60, 65 million pound plus on each. They're going to go out and spend. And I think they've got a chance at Enzo and Rice, but they could end up with Caicedo and Rice. They could end up with Caicedo and Enzo. Jude Bellingham is another player they're looking at. Todd Bowley, legitimately in his group, pound for pound, they're outspending what Roman was doing. And the worrying factor with them, I've said it since the day Roman, I've said this to you on streams, mate. They're trying to build something that's sustainable as well. They're looking at a lot of young prospects, whether their names are famous yet or not. They want to build something over a period of time. They've told Graham Potter, we believe you're the manager with the right resources over a 2 to 3 year period that can build long-term sustainable success. And though we're not going to do it on a shoestring budget like some clubs, we're actually going to do it and spend massive and keep you the best players. And I always kind of look at it like a little bit like RB Leipzig, which is why I think Chelsea have gone for a lot of people connected to that setup. Imagine Leipzig with Premier League money. Look at all the stars they've had to let go. And forget how good or bad they are because they're in the Bundesliga. Imagine how much more competitive Leipzig would be in Germany if all their star players of the last 5 years were still there now on big money wages and they were able to go into the transfer market and buy the superstars that also play their style of football. They'd be challenging.
Dortmund, look at the conveyor belt that Dortmund
they have to let them go. And that's my point. If you can build a structure in England that is similar to Dortmund's or Leipzig's in terms of talent ID and style of football and spotting those youngsters, but you're also able to add on top of that by keeping and buying established players that also can play in that way, you can become a dangerous animal. The thing about Dortmund, I remember once getting into an argument, I think it was with Tom from Guna Talk TV. We still never had a debate, and I just said that there isn't a debate because we're not going to even see common ground. Where I said I would never want Man United to mimic Dortmund's model. And he said, well, why would you not? Dortmund are a better team than you right now. And I said, yes, but Dortmund have a ceiling. Dortmund can only get certain level of good because they let their best players leave and they never replace like for like. They go back into the market and buy up and coming players and rebuild again. And I wouldn't want my club to have that model because I want to build a brilliant team that you can then keep brilliant for a decade by adding to it. Maybe you lose one or two, but you barely lose anybody. And that for me is what
you used to under Fergie.
Like we used to, like City do now, as an example. The reason why Liverpool won't win as regularly as City is because they don't add on top as frequently. They let players go. They bring youngsters through again. Different model. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong. There's more than one way to skin a cat. But I think Chelsea are trying to build something which is Leipzig, Dortmund-esque, but with big money. And that's a scary prospect. And when you look at how much they've already spent 300 million. And by the end of this window, so far this season, they could have spent 400 to 450 million pounds on new players. It's crazy. Considering everybody said Roman era is done, Chelsea are finished. For me, like, people have got to keep a much closer eye on Chelsea and not just look at them sitting in 8th or 9th and go, ha, you've fallen off, because they're not going to be there forever, in my opinion. They're really not going to be there forever.
No, they're not. And listen, they've got a manager that's got the mindset of playing good attacking football, right? So now if you add the money to that and put the right players in there, look at the way Brighton were playing when he was there. Mate, I remember going to Ostersund, Terry, freezing my knackers off, -15. Yeah, and they were playing good attacking football. They then came to the Emirates. We beat them, I think, 3-0 that day, right? But then they came to the Emirates and played us off the park. That was Ostersund, who, by the way, I think have been relegated since he's left, right? And he took them from the 4th tier to the top tier, Europa League and all that. Like, he's a good manager. He plays very good football. And if you add money to that and the right players in that money, they're not just throwing money for the sake of throwing money, but you actually get quality players in there. Yeah, I think they could be very scary, Terry.
Very scary. No, listen, man, I agree completely. And it's one of them things that I kind of enjoy seeing them not being good right now. It's a bit of banter, but I've bantered them sort of through bated breath because I kind of know you ever like seen a scenario? Now, I never did this because I was never an idiot as a kid, but you ever seen it where certain little mouthy kid giving it the big one because he's got. It was a kid I'll give you an example. A kid in my year, and I can't quite remember his name. His name was David. I don't remember his surname. and his brother was like 3 years older than us, and he always hung around. He didn't hang around with anyone our age. He used to pick on bigger kids in the year above us, 2 years above us, because he was always with his brother's friends that were like the biggest and oldest in the school. And then I remember what happened. His brother and all his friends left the school because they were year 11. They left. He was still he was then in year 9, and he had the year 10s and year 11s and year 9s all hated him because he used to get his brothers and his big mates to beat them all up. Now he had to spend 2 more years at school with the older kids and 3 more, including us, without any protection. He got beat the shit out of a lot.
Every week.
He took a pasting. He took a pasting because it was never deep enough for his by then adult brother to come back into school and attack kids, right? It was never that deep. It was just playground stuff. But that's how I see attacking Chelsea. Right now, it's like, we can all have a dig and laugh at them. But I feel like they're going to come up the blind side really quickly. And suddenly we're gonna, and I don't want to be the guy with those tweets of, oh, look how you've fallen off after Roman. And then in 2 years' time, they pull off a treble or something. Do you get? I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that dude. So I'm just keeping my powder dry.
Yeah, mate, we both said this on here, yeah, when the takeover happened, and I was like, no, they could be a problem because everyone was laughing at them, saying they're finished, they've had their 2 decades, this and that. Mate, you do not buy a football club for that much money, with that much income, with that much fan base globally, yeah, with that much trophy haul in the last 2 decades. And let's not forget, in the last 2 decades, they're still the most successful football club in England, and they ain't won the league for 6 years. Like, so come on, like they're still winning stuff. They're still getting to finals. They won a Champions League less than 2 years ago, 18 months ago.
They did, and do you know what's crazy about it? I mean, there is a report. The record in Portugal, the outlet, have just stated that Enzo Fernandez is inclined to leave Benfica in January, and has accepted the personal terms offered by Chelsea. And this is the thing, and sometimes you get a lot of that's the Portuguese press. Yeah, it's a Portuguese press that first reported that Liverpool were coming in for Darwin Núñez. You know, it was the Dutch press that broke the news about Liverpool and Gakpo before anybody else. So let's not write these publications off. But if this is true and Enzo's accepted those, again, adding Enzo to this, the midfield's a big issue for Chelsea. Even this season, if by the end of January Chelsea have a quality midfield, I'm going to change my top 4 predictions. They're making top 4.
Sorry, it's only fake news if you don't believe it. I'll give an example, right? When Ben White left the England camp, everyone was saying, oh my God, personal reasons, right? And I'm sitting there going, well, no, it ain't. Yeah, not personal reasons. It's very easy. It's very similar to when you say, it's very similar to when, like, if you say personal reasons, yeah, you can't come into work, right? You can't challenge that, can you? The same as when you say about my mental health. You can't challenge mental health because now, what if they are suffering? Same with personal reasons. Personal reasons is very open and subjective to anything. Personal reasons could be he's got an ingrown toenail. Like, it could be anything. So then it comes out a couple of weeks later that apparently Ben White's had a bust up with the staff on the training ground in front of everyone. So I do with it. No, you're a disgrace. How can the truth will come out? Terry, we've been in this game long enough, right? And we've been around the block long enough, right? To know that the first story that comes out is never the truth. It's the second one that comes out. It is the truth. The second story with Ben White was he had a bust up because he was bored of doing this, and this, and he didn't want to be there. That's the truth. There will not be a third story. And when people sit there and said to me, oh yeah, but you're believing the Daily Star, the Daily Mail. Well, they're the same people that actually said Mudryk was coming to Arsenal before anyone. Yeah, so when it's Mudryk to Arsenal and the Daily Mail and Daily Star put it out there, that's cool, it's happening. But when it's Ben White, yeah, and he's a problem in the England dress, no, it's fake news. If you believe something to be true, you're going to believe it no matter who writes it. But then if you don't believe something, it doesn't matter who writes it. Fabrizio could have tweeted that out about Ben White. Yeah, and no, it's fake news because you like the player. You don't want it to be true. Well, yeah, and it's the same with signings.
Well, it's the same with, listen, the Football Terrace gets it a lot. So whenever I put out Arsenal news, Chelsea news, Liverpool news, for instance, it's positive about those clubs, I get very few comments where people say fake news or clickbait. Very few. When I put news out from the same journalists and publications that's positive about Man United, I would say on average we get between 50 to 80 clickbait or fake news comments every single time. And it's weird. It's kind of like, and the strangest one we get on the terrace is people that go, well, the other day you said something different. I'm like, well, I never say anything about any deals other than my opinion on the story that's being published. So if one day Fabrizio says Man United are advancing talks with Joao Felix, and I say Man United advanced Joao Felix deal, I talk about what Fabrizio said. The next day, David Ornstein says United rejected by Felix, and I do a title that says Felix rejects Man United. When I see the comments of the other day, though, Terry, you said it was advancing. It's like, no, I didn't. Fabrizio did, and that's what the title said. Like, that's the strangest bit. But it feeds into the same thing that you've just you've said there. The same thing that you've said. When people want to believe it, they don't challenge. Listen, I've said it before. I'm not someone who reads the Sun, but when the Sun published something negative about Man United, I see hundreds of die-hard Liverpool fans. They don't share the Sun story, but they banter about the story. And it's like, but you're doing the same thing. You're literally believing it because it suits your purpose. And I'm like, shame on you, considering what the way the majority of your city or the whole of your city feels about them. But it's like in that moment, you suddenly don't care anymore. Your morality flies out the window. It's crazy. And I've fallen out with a few Liverpool fans over it. And I'm like, well, one guy went, no, I'm actually quoting the Mirror. And he sent me the link. I'm like, bruv, the first line in the Mirror says, according to the Sun. And I'm like, one now, you can't do that. You have to go read the stories. But yeah,
the best one, you do this because you search all this news every day. The best one is according to reports, right? According to reports, but they never have the solid link, the link that you can click on to go to the report. Yeah, that's when you know it's fake. Yeah, according to reports that we've not linked, that's when you know they've made it up. Yeah, like we both do transfer news, Terry, right? We go through thousands of reports every month or every couple of months during transfer period. Yeah, you do more because you cover 6 teams, I cover 1, right? But according to reports, and there's no report that they've linked, that's fake news every time. Terry, I made a story up once upon a time, yeah, right, on my transfer. It was Donny van der Beek to Arsenal. I literally made that story up. I was sat there, I'd rinsed every single transfer story I could ever have done, yeah, right, in that period, right? And I sat there and I thought, fuck it, I'm just going to do Donny van der Beek to Arsenal. I swear to God, I went to bed, that was in there for 7 a.m. I woke up at 10 a.m. By midday, every mainstream article went with Donny van der Beek to Arsenal. That's how easy it is to manipulate stuff. Yeah? They took my word for it. How do I know what's going on? Like, come on.
I hear you on that. I just want to say very quickly, there are reports coming out from journalists and all sorts that Pele has sadly passed away. There's been no official word from any like mainstream media outlets, the BBC or anybody like that. There's a few that are verified, but I don't know. There's one here that's got like 1 million followers called Demarque Sport that have said it. But if the news is true, and I say if because we've had a few occasions in the past where people have been announced as passing and they haven't quite gone yet. This was kind of on the cards. Obviously, very, very sad news indeed. One of the greatest, in many people's eyes, the greatest footballer of all time, the first superstar footballer of all time, and 3 times World Cup winner, one of the youngest ever World Cup winners, one of the highest goal scorers in the World Cup. And it's sad, really, in the space of 2 years to lose Maradona and Pele. Very, very sad indeed. But we kind of knew when he was kept in the hospice and said he weren't going to be leaving. We knew it was on the cards. But very, very sad news indeed. So condolences to Pele's family. What a legend. There's no much more you can say about Pele other than what an absolute legend.
I watched the documentary of Pele on Netflix the other week. Yeah, and you don't realize how much a player actually has an impact on dictatorships and like politics and stuff like that in the country, mate. Anyone who's not watched that Pele documentary on Netflix, go and watch it. Yeah, because he didn't even want to play in one of the World Cups and he was kind of forced into it, right? And they were going through some madness in that country and they ended up winning it. Yeah, and the whole country was free after that, basically. It's tragic, man. It's sad, man. It's sad. I was never old enough to see him play, but we all know Pele, man. We all know how good he was, and we all know the goals that he scored and the World Cups, the trophies and all of that. And we've seen him doing the rounds, and it was sad, man. When he got put to end of life like sweet and all that the other week. We knew it wasn't going to take much longer before he did sadly leave. But yeah, man, 3 World Cups. What a player. 82 years old. Big up, man. Big up.
Yeah, as I said, tremendously sad, you know, and he wasn't a player from an era that I watched, but he was one of the first, when you first start watching football and you're being taught about football by your dad or by your mum at school, Pele's name comes up. And the guy had been retired probably for about maybe not quite a decade when I was born. I'm going to actually search now when he retired. I was born in 1985. Obviously, Lee was born a lot earlier than that.
Only 3 years, Terry.
His last game was in 1971 for Brazil, and his last game as a footballer was in 1977 for the New York Cosmos. So, you know, he didn't play. He stopped playing for Brazil 14 years before I was born. I didn't really understand football and could have conversations about it for what into like the early 90s. So he'd been retired 20 years, and he was still the first name, one of the first names that I ever learned in football. So yeah, very, very sad indeed. He'll be missed. But you know what I would say on the butt is this guy has such a legacy in 150 years. I mean, I just come back from a World Cup. This guy's statues, this guy's pictures, this guy's goals, this guy's legacy will live on. And I think for me, that's the beautiful thing. As much as he, the person, is gone, Pele will live on forever and eternity. And yeah, very, very sad news. The Football Terrace and I put our condolences across to the passing of most people's GOAT, and that is of man, the man, the legend that is Pele.
Yeah, concur with that, mate. Totally. What a player.
Absolutely. Viewers, make sure you're smashing like buttons and everything else. We are going to continue with the show in honor. I'm sure I bet Pele's never watched any of the Football Terrace, but he wants to keep talking.
Come on, you're doing a disservice to everyone watches this show. Well, I'm going to go for a toilet break real quick and stoke that
no
fire.
worries.
Give me 2 minutes. I'll be
all
back.
Right, mate. No worries. We'll do some of your live comments here, people. The real GOAT is what Victor's had to say here. Watch the prison movie with Pele, Michael K. You mean Escape to Victory? Yes, I've seen that film. It's a very, very, very good film. A lot of people here putting in their condolences to Pele, one of the true greats of the game. Actually, that they are actually only a small handful of these types of players, true icons. There isn't. Everyone will have their own, but like Pele, Maradona, Messi, Ronaldo. Like I kind of put those four in a category by themselves. They're in a category. Boom, there. Then there's like a big group underneath it. There's only four. I mean, some people you might put Puskas, some people would put Beckenbauer, some people might put Gerd Muller in there, but they're my four. My top four greatest ever football players. Those four go into it, and yeah, very, very sad indeed. Let's have a little look here. Shocking news. He was 82, for God's sakes. Oh, listen, I know he's old, but it's not shocking news based on his age. It's sad news because of what he meant to everybody, sir. So I understand your mother passed away a lot younger, and that's far more shocking in terms of that. But Pele touched so many lives, and Pele's one of those very few individuals around the world that you may never have met. You may never even watch perform his art live, but he still touched your life and he had an impact on you, and it means something. So it's more significant. It really, really is. It really is. Hey, Messi the GOAT, Pele a legend. Yeah, listen, and everyone will have their own thoughts and their own feelings around that. Thank you very much, Simon. I appreciate your comments on there. Do some of these super chats that have come through. Chelsea are moving mad. For once, Terry, I am scared. I hear you on that. They are moving a little mad. They are moving a little mad. But I think the madness is going to turn out to pay some dividends for them. I really, really do. I think it's going to pay some serious, serious dividends for them moving forward. Thanks for all your work, Terry. Looking forward to a new vid from TFT has become a part of my daily routine. As a Gooner, I'm loving the balance reporting about my great club. Not a problem, my friend. It's always balanced what I do. It's just sometimes people like it, sometimes people don't. But I never pander to the audience. I speak my mind. I think there's more longevity in that. I think there's far more longevity in that. Tony here says, my dad talked about him all the time and Maradona. It reminds me of this World Cup. Yeah, I get you. I absolutely get you. Iconic sportsman is what DJ says, and that's it. An absolute iconic sportsman. Now, speaking of iconic, the big breaking news this afternoon, before we move on to more detail, is this: that Arsenal, Man United, and Chelsea deem Atletico's demands for the loan too high. They are all trying to push the price down, which we know. But Joao Felix's preferred destination is to join Arsenal. So, according to this report, he has agreed in principle to join Arsenal Football Club over the others. Mudryk looks like it's happening now, Lee, and this is a very talented player. But Joao Felix on loan, if you can get the asking price down and you can bring Joao Felix in, what you saying, bro?
I'm all up for Joao Felix right now, mate. Yeah, all up for it right now. Get it done. And let's be honest, right? Out of all the clubs he could go to, there was talk of PSG last week. I don't think PSG would want him. Like, real talk. That's not a diss on him, yeah, but I don't think PSG want him. So Man United, I was speaking with Rance the other day, and he made a very good point, and they are linked to him, that they've got rid of Ronaldo. They're looking to sell the club, all about shirt sales. They could put him on 350 a week. That's still save 200 grand a week. It's a marquee signing. The number 7's available. He could have the number 7, blah, 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 right? And you've still saved money, which makes the club more, sellable, even though you're in talks with some Qataris, some Saudis, etc., etc. But if you're Joao Felix, you're looking at Man United thinking, club's up for sale. The way they treated Ronaldo, obviously he's a club or international teammate, Ronaldo. You're probably looking at it thinking, oh, I'm going Arsenal. They're top of the table. They're playing great football. Yeah, they'll still give me top dollar. They'll make me the marquee signing in the summer. 8 million loan fee or whatever it costs. Bro, I'd take him in a heartbeat. Yeah, I'll take him in a heartbeat because I think he's a very good talent that's underperformed at Atleti. And the reason he's underperformed is multiple reasons. Number one, I think he realised very quickly he shouldn't have gone there. Number two, the style of football was never going to suit him. Yeah, and he's their record signing. And his relationship with Simeone is on the floor. So I think even though Simeone is talking about, oh, yeah, he's a vital part of our team, we want to keep it, oh, let's just keep the price up. Yeah, let's be real. I'd take him in a heartbeat. Whether I think he's coming or not is different. I think that we're going to sign Mudryk. I don't think we're going to sign him. We may sign him in the summer, but we ain't signing him in January. I'd love it. I tell you, if we sign him and Mudryk, as much as I've not hardly seen this Mudryk guy and I'll take it or leave it with Mudryk, yeah, I really would. I'd rather go get Sahar because he's ready for now. Yeah, Mudryk may be one for the future, maybe good for now. I don't know. I ain't seen enough of him. But Felix is one for now. I'd rather take Felix over Mudryk. And I think with Smith Rowe coming back as well, Felix is more of a we need that type of player rather than a Mudryk, which is we want that player. But if we get both, mate, I'll be buzzing. So I can't lie. Yeah, I'll be buzzing.
Of course,
even I'll be scared of Mikel Arteta winning a title.
Mate, I mean, I tweeted this earlier on today. Like, first of all, and I think the audience need this broken down. Yesterday evening, Ornstein was the first, that's not the first, it's a lie. Ben Jacobs first told us when we were in Doha, like, Arsenal have seriously advanced the personal side. So he said they've worked really hard to try and convince the player. They hadn't done much with Ati at that point. Now we know that they're working with Ati because they're trying to get the price down. So it isn't a shock, but we know that because of what Ornstein told us. So it isn't a shock that they've been already working on the personal side. Now they're working on that Arsenal are leading the way with the player. It doesn't surprise me. Equally, as you've said, if you have the choice right now joining Arsenal or Man United, yes, on paper, Man United are the bigger team. Yes, on paper, Man United may be seen as more luxurious, bigger, better, and all of this. Arsenal right now are legitimately in a goddamn title race. You're in one. Whether people want to hear that or not, whether people like hearing it or not, Arsenal Football Club are in a title race. Arsenal Football Club are moving in a direction that shows progression. And I think that, yes, you could argue that when Jesus comes back, what does that do? Who's going to play where? Listen, I'm going to be really blunt. Now, Gooners don't say this very often. They don't like to. There's two things about both these players you're looking at, both Joao Felix and Mudryk. If you look at the sort of ceiling of Mudryk, there's a lot. When you read the scouting reports, and not scouting reports on Arsenal websites that have written them in the last 6 months since you've been linked. Go back and find some from 12 months ago. There is the potential this guy could be better than everyone that you've got in those wide positions already. Potential. I'm not saying he will be better than Martinelli or he will be better than Saka. There is the potential for him to be that. Joao Felix, there is the potential he comes in and could be better for you than Gabriel Jesus. That isn't meaning that Saka, Gabriel Jesus, and Mudryk are bad players. Sorry, Martinelli are bad players. It means you might just be able to become an even better football team. And Arsenal fans have got to get out of one little element in their minds. You've got to, when you're a bad team and you were a bad team for a long time, like my club is, this is why I know what you're doing. You've got to drop the player agendas. There should be no. I heard someone the other day say, "Well, should we really be signing Mudryk and Joao Felix? What about the gateway and the path of Marquinhos?" I'm like, why do you care? If those guys come in and are better and make you a better team, you should, like Marquinhos, don't worry about him. Don't worry about him. If he's good enough, he'll progress ahead of them. No one stops anybody at a club. Signing Mudryk will not stop Saka unless Saka isn't good enough. Joao Felix coming in won't stop Gabriel Jesus being your best attacker if he's your best attacker. That's just it. It's crazy.
Go back to 02 and go and have a look at Arsenal's bench. Go back to 04 and look at Arsenal's bench. Bro, I remember the game. I was at the game when we were losing to Middlesbrough 3-1 and we won 5-3. Right? You could hear a pin drop when Frank Drew scored from 30 yards out. And we're 3-1 down to equal Nottingham Forest, 42 unbeaten. Everyone was just looking like stunned. We brought Reyes off the bench. We brought Pires off the bench. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Look at when we won the title at Old Trafford. Like, we got players like Wiltord and Kanu in that. Yeah, can you believe it? And all of that. Terry, these people in this era sit there and go, oh, but it hampered Jesus. And will Jesus play second fiddle? Will Jesus have to play second fiddle if Joao Felix is doing the business? Yeah, it's as simple as that. Eddie Nketiah was signed up to 100 grand a week. Yeah, and we don't know whether he was promised to be the top boy, but he's on 100 grand a week playing second fiddle again. Right, but now he has to do the do's. And if he does the do's, Jesus ain't getting straight back in the team. That's healthy competition. If you look at our bench, Terry, for every game, it's championship level. If we go and sign Mudryk and Felix, and maybe a midfielder, we need a midfielder, in my opinion, somebody to back up party. But Arsenal fans will sit and say, but we got El Neni. This is the same El Neni that, give him a new contract after he had 8 games. Great. Well, the 8 games took us from 4th to 5th. The same as Nketiah took us from 4th to 5th with his goals at the end of the season. We need levels. And if you want to get Champions League and you want to be able to compete on multiple fronts, like Manchester City do, like Liverpool have done, then you have to have a squad that is adequate enough that when you lose a Gabriel Jesus, it doesn't matter. Fantastic result the other night. After one game, it ain't mattered. Eddie did the business. What a finish. Great goal. Saka did it. Martinelli done it. But there's going to be games where they're not going to do it. That's where you bring a Mudryk off the bench. That's where you get a Joao Felix. Yeah, that's where you start Joao Felix and bring Eddie on as an impact sub. You know, when you're bringing on Rob Holding or Cedric or Marquinhos, sorry, mate, that ain't good enough. If you want to be the best, these players on the bench, they're only going to get us a stepping stone up or two. Then you have to go and get the best. So for me, I'm all over signing McAllister. I'm all over signing Caicedo. I'm all over signing Felix. I'll take Mudryk. Yeah, but I want Sahara as well because the future is this season. I don't think Mudryk's going to come in and hit the ground running as much as our fans have pumped him up to be up here. Yeah, he looks good, but every time I've seen the clips of this guy, I've never seen him with a low block. Yeah, I've never seen him with his back to goal. Yeah, it's always on transition, which, let's be real, may be the way it goes for the second half of the season because everyone's scared of Arsenal. Everyone's sitting there parking the bus. But then when you come up against a Newcastle, are they going to be worried about us? A Liverpool, a Tottenham, a Manchester City, a Man United. They're going to try and take the game to us, especially at their ground, which we have to play you all, I think, at your ground. I think we've played you lot, but other than that, I think we play everyone at their ground. Yeah, Newcastle, we've got home and away, City home and away, Spurs away next month. We've still got to play Liverpool. You know, these teams, they're going to have a go at you. So on transition, yes, that would be great. But when you come up against the lesser teams, from what I've seen off of the clips doing the rounds, I've not seen Mudryk up against a low block. He's
mate,
on. It's only in transition.
and that is a fair comment and point. I think that that's gonna be one of the new things for him. You know, you even see it with Newcastle right now. They're playing well, but no one plays low block against them, so they're able to play openly against everybody. If everybody starts sitting back like they do against Arsenal, like
And
they do
only one game a week as well.
Yeah, and these are going to be the points. But I make you absolutely right. And I think you echoed my point. I'm still seeing too many Arsenal fans for my liking, and this is just me as a football fan speaking, that put the progression of young players or their favorite player above that of their club. And I get it when your team's in turmoil, because sometimes all you've got is a shout about a talent. Like Man United went through this, but all we had was to rave about Rashford or he who must not be named. Arsenal have gone through this over time. It's almost like, well, we've got to make the Jack Grealish debate, him being better than Tom Cleverley. The reason that was so important to Arsenal fans is because we were winning the league titles and you guys weren't, and that was why it becomes so important. And I think that Arsenal fans have got to look at it. It's a little bit like this.
You meant Wilshere. You said Grealish. You meant Wilshere. I know what you meant. That's
I meant Wilshere. I meant Wilshere. Sorry. Slip of the tongue. Sorry. But like, I look at the situation and think, if by some quirk of fate tomorrow, what midfield? Like, let's use a striker. If Haaland tomorrow fell out with Pep, City said we're getting rid of him because we don't want him here anymore, and he goes, I really want to play for Arsenal. Are Arsenal fans saying, for the sake of Gabriel Jesus, they wouldn't sign him? Of course you wouldn't. As much as you guys love Martinelli, you're going to say no to this, but most Arsenal fans wouldn't. If tomorrow you could sign Mbappe, but it meant Martinelli was on the bench.
Oh, I'd take Mbappe. And I'll tell you why I'd take Mbappe, even though I don't put him up here and people are comparing him to Henry. Sorry, mate. You're not. You're really not. Yeah, come back in 10 years, you might be better. But right now, you're very effective in modern football. Right? I'd take him in a heartbeat. Yeah. But would I play him? Would I play him every week? Yeah. In that position? Probably not. Probably not. Some weeks he'd go up front and Martinelli starts left. And this is where people get it twisted, Terry, and you're absolutely nail on the head. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I'm a Saka fanboy. Mate, if I'll give you an example, right? There's people out there that think Neymar's the greatest. Yeah, they think he's great. He's cool. Okay, well, would you sign Neymar and play him over Martinelli? The Martinelli you rate. These players, oh, no, Neymar's coming to the end of his career. I'd take Neymar. I'd take Messi. I'd still take Messi. Messi gets in that team. Yeah, and Terry, this is where people get it twisted. You're spot on. It's a squad game. And if you want to be the best and not just have a one season like Leicester or compete and fall away like Arsenal have done many, many times, which is why I'm still keeping it zipped on title. I do think we could compete for a title this season, but a lot of things have to go for us. We have to go and buy top players or loan top players, yeah, like Felix, get a midfielder, maybe another centre-back in there because Rob Holding is not the guy. And if one of them two get injured, Saliba or Gabriel, we're pretty shafted. Yeah, because especially if...
Yeah.
Go on, sorry, go on.
No, mate, I agree with you. And I just feel like this. Listen, Martinelli and Saka, in my opinion, are good enough, irrespective of who you sign, to push that envelope. I've been asked this as a United fan, what if your new signings are better than Rashford? Well, if he's doing better than Rashford, when Rashford's at his best, then my team's going to be better. So I don't care. Like as a kid, I grew up with the greatest Man United team of all time. In my teens and early 20s, it was another great Man United team. But I never once cared about a player leaving. I cared about what my club was going to do to replace or how we were going to move forward. And that's how people have got to think, in my opinion.
Look at when you had Berbatov, right? Fergie was the master. Any player that was the best player in the league that never played for United, we're going to sign him. Dwight York, Andy Cole, Berbatov, Rooney, all these, you could list loads, right? We could spend a whole episode on that, right? But the point is, he gets Berbatov in, he gets the golden boot. Yeah, he then benches him for the next season, then flogs him. Why? Yeah. Because it was what I need now to win the league.
Yeah, of course. Yeah? Of course.
Future don't matter, because in the future, we're just going to buy the best player again and we'll do it again.
Of course. Fergie didn't think about Danny Welbeck's progression when he bought Van Persie. We needed Van Persie because he's better than what we've got. And fans
the guy you had up front, Makeda. Do you think he'd give a toss about Makeda?
Oh, yeah. He's got, Javier Hernandez was there. There was a better option. Now, as fans, up until Van Persie signed for Man United, I loved Hernandez and Welbeck and Rooney more than Van Persie. But as soon as Van Persie came in, I'm like, this guy's going to score even more goals. I love him now. You should love your club more than any player, and then these things don't bother you. I just want to point out one thing, sorry, to Violet Clown. We discussed Pele's passing about 10 minutes ago when it was first announced. We spoke about it for about 10 minutes on the show, my friend. So the fact we're not talking about it now and you're getting annoyed about it, it's already happened on the show. Of course, we wouldn't ignore that news when it broke. We didn't. It's not on the title in underneath because he hadn't passed away when we went live. I'm not apologizing for that because that'd be a weird thing to say sorry for, that I can't tell the future. But of course, we pass our condolences on to one of the greatest football players and sportsmen of all time.
Football as well.
Yeah, he's just an absolute legend. But yeah, in terms of the deal, like, I think Arsenal can do this. Genuinely, you've got the reports from Spain saying Arsenal is his preferred destination. You're going to focus on Mudryk first, which is, in my opinion, I think the Mudryk deal is almost done. I think the Mudryk deal is almost done and over the line. You'll then move on to Joao Felix. My question for you is this, though. If you sign Joao Felix and Mudryk, if you get both,
what are you going to say?
And you're 5 points clear at the top, surely you have to be looked at as, maybe not favourites, but surely you have to be looked at as beyond genuine title contenders. With a 5-point gap and those two players, there should be no. Is there still an excuse to not win the league, in your opinion?
Yeah, there is within the fan base as a whole, Terry, and there is that seed of doubt. The fact that I think since the last time we won the league, I think this is the 6th or 7th time we've been top at Christmas, and we ain't won the league any time. I see the chart come up the other day, most points after 14 games. That was before we kicked off against West Ham. And every single team that's had that much points or more has won the title. I see us top of the league when Eduardo broke his leg. Yeah, I've seen us top of the league this season. Leicester won. Like, I remember Danny Welbeck scoring the goal against Leicester and jumping in the crowd. I was in Tenerife. I was knee sliding around the bar I was in. Everyone was looking at me like I was a madman and all eating their dinner. Yeah, and I was like, but we didn't win the league. And there's always that doubt. The problem with a lot of the online fans is that are younger than me, and I'm an old man, is they've grown up on, Champions League. And even now, I spoke to somebody the other day. He's a very good friend of mine. He's a little bit younger than me. And he said, but as long as we get top 4, I said, mate, we're 5 points clear. The aim now, the aim at the start of the season, was Champions League. But we're 5 points clear. The aim now is to stick pressure on that club to go and do what's required to now go and win it. And if we don't win it, and I've said this to you many times on this show, and on my channel, that if we're in a title race going into the final month of the season within 6 points of City or above City, I'm happy. We've competed. That's all I want. Terry, when we came second to Leicester, I was still wanting Wenger out the club. I was going on marches, getting him out the club. Yeah, that was not good enough to finish second to Leicester. Manchester City is a different kettle of fish, but we've been better than them by a country mile this season. The fact they're only 5 behind us is a miracle. We should have beaten Southampton. On another day, we would have got a better result against you. He totally gnaws that up, but we'll give him that. It's 1 out of 15. He's completely messed up. The Southampton game, we should have been out of sight, so we should have had another 2 points. Now go and do the signings in January. And I said this a couple of months ago before the World Cup started. I said, go and do the business in January. It'll save you a fortune in the summer. Yeah, because then you only need to get a defensive player in at right back to cover Ben White if you want to play him there. You only need to go and get another left-sided centre-back, which is somebody he wants. Now you've only got to get a midfielder. If we go and get Joao Felix and a winger and even a midfielder this January, we've saved a fortune. Yeah, we might pay over the odds for Mudryk, but we're always paying over the odds for Mudryk because we're desperate to buy him. So they're just going to go, okay, you can have the little carrot dangled in front of you. It's 75 mil. We could have got him for 45 mil in the summer. The difference is that goes on this financial fair play, which is why I'm baffed that they're going to do 75 mil if they get him in Jan, because it's still on this year's financial fair play. Why don't you just buy him in the summer? Why don't you just buy him in the summer? But then they probably looked at other options in the summer. Jesus was more important. Zinchenko was more important. But now we're going for a title here. And Edu even said it in July. I think it was July 25th. Edu said on Sky Sports, he said, no, now is the time to stop looking at maybe this. No, we're going to go and compete. So let's see if they back their talk. If they back their talk, Terry, and we're in the title race, I'll be the happiest guy on the planet. because that's what I've wanted from this club. Compete. Even if we don't win it, which I still don't think we will. I think City are better than us, yeah, for the long term. But compete. And if they go and show me Joao Felix and Mudryk, even though I don't know a lot about the guy, I'm happy, man. I'm happy. And I've been happy all season, by the way. Yeah, so all the people that go, no, you're a flip-flop. No, I ain't a flip-flop. Yeah, I've wanted this club to compete for 19 seasons. 19 seasons, and this club have been a joke for 19 seasons. Even when they're top, oh, well, no one's available. Oh, let's only go and buy Petr Cech. Oh, but this player got in. Oh, we couldn't replace him. No, this season we look the real deal, but it's only 15 games. There's still 23 to go, right? And go and sign in January. I will sit there. If we're still there in May, Terry, there or thereabouts, first or second, closing distance to City, I'll shut up and say fair play. I take it all back about Arteta. But it's still a long way to go. And this club have let me down so many times, Terry. It's like when you're with your girl and she goes out. It's never happened to me, but she goes out and she cheats on you, right? Never happened, by the way. Yeah, she goes out and she cheats on you, yeah, right? But then you go, oh, but she gives the best, you know what? Yeah, I'll take her back. Yeah, and then she does it. Oh, but she's going to change. She cried. Oh, and then it happens again. Eventually, you get immune to this crap. Yeah, so eventually you're like, nah, it doesn't matter. So then the next one comes along and you treat the next one like the last one. Then that one does it. Then the next one gets treated like that. They show signs of promise. And then eventually you just go bollocks to it. Yeah, like I ain't going to believe it until it don't happen. Or in this case, it does happen. So show me something. Yeah, and if Edu and this club, the Cronkies, Arteta, and this fan base are serious about winning a title, stick it all over your social medias, whether you've got 0 followers, 1 or 1 billion. Sign the players. That's it. And we go and do it. Man said it happened, by the way. It's never happened to me, bro. Have you seen how pretty I am? I'm 40 years old. Look how good I am.
Yeah, I've also heard rumors about what Lee has in his pants. So I know it definitely hasn't happened. So
no, you're an idiot.
It's just a rumor I was told. You know what I mean?
You're an idiot.
No, I heard once you were on a beach in Spain and the beach got clear because they thought a python had got out of a cage somewhere. They were like, we've got to call the police. The python on the beach. That's what I heard. I heard a rumor, Lee. I don't know if it's true. I ain't seen, but that's what I was told. But there we go.
That's for OnlyFans, Terry.
Yeah, I heard you can make some dough on that. But anyway,
mate, I need another income source next year. I can't rely on YouTube, mate.
No, I know. Especially if you're going out of business because Arsenal are good again. Do you know what I mean?
Do you know what I mean?
It's terrible. But yeah, look, I think for me, like, you're absolutely spot on. And I think Arsenal fans have to demand this happen. And I get the whole don't come off track. But Joao Felix becoming available is one of those transfers which for me has nothing to do whether it was part of your plans or not. I've heard Man United fans go, I've got no money. And I've done a video that's coming out later where I've released a snippet of it. I'm like, what do you mean we've got no money? We've just saved 18 million. I said 16 in the video. I've researched it. 18 million we saved sacking Ronaldo. And we haven't got 15, 16 million for Joao Felix. Yeah, but Ronaldo's different. He brings in this kind of income. You never spend that much on a player like Felix in comparison. I'm like, you're missing the point of the argument. They're saying we have no money, but the money is there. Say you don't think Joao Felix worth it. That's a different argument to we don't have money. If I've got 100 quid in the bank and you're like, can you lend me some money, Terry? And I say, I don't have any money. I'm lying to you. If I say I don't have enough to lend someone else money, then I'm telling you the truth. It's about specificity on this. Arsenal Football Club have got the opportunity to sign one of the best attacking players, young players in the world in Joao Felix, who I think it's a good fault and a bad fault. The football fan in me is excited about the idea of seeing Joao Felix alive and in an attacking team. The Man United fan in me is shit scared that he's going to be doing that for Arsenal. Imagine you unleash him and you turn him.
Another title.
Yeah, Arsenal just got scarier. And you look at it and just think to yourself, the levels you could go to. You're already 5 points clear of City. You've already been better than them this year. You can go to another stage. And the Mudryk deal is the Mudryk deal. And that's keeping to your plan. I think that people genuinely become fearful of Arsenal if you do that. But it's also a great move from the Cronkies. It's the Cronkies coming out and saying, we actually are backing the football club now. We are doing the right thing to get us back to the only place that Arsenal fans should ever consider success. And that's winning these major trophies. When you're as big as Arsenal, coming in the top 4, coming second place, almost winning things over a long period of time, isn't good enough. We have some super chats that I want to do. What does it say? Jess and Terry is a creepy combo.
So's your picture, mate. Look at that picture.
And a bit of Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito. I was going to say.
There's a lot of jealous people out there. David
Hey,
here.
They're jealous. We should start calling Tell Jason punching. Yeah, because he's punching above his weight.
I'm just not though. This is my levels, bro. It's the levels I live on. Do you know what I mean? We would assume Felix might pick Arsenal because of a title race, but he might pick United based off of comfort and familiarity. He knows Bruno and Dalot. Listen, he could pick Man United, and that's why I'm also annoyed that
Fabio Vieira and Cedric.
Cedric's off it on his way to full of money. But yeah, but listen, he could pick for that reason. But listen, I think Joao Felix is going to pick the best club for him. If he's available to Arsenal and Arsenal let Man United get him, I think Arsenal are making a massive mistake, because I think there's a player in Joao Felix that just needs to be unleashed even when you watch him at Portugal, they don't play attacking enough. They're not attacking. The one game where they were out and out attacking in the World Cup against Switzerland, look how him and the boys cooked. Do you know what I mean? It's far too negative. So yeah, it'd be a massive, massive mistake if that was to happen. David here says Lee had to clarify. Sounds like it happened to him.
Never. Mate, I'm 40 and a half years old. Look how beautiful I look. Like my hairline's gone back, but that's because Arsenal ain't won a title since I was 21.
Opinions on the new Caicedo to Arsenal league. Would you be happy with Caicedo at Arsenal league?
I'll take him in a heartbeat. I said this on the video the other day. I said, yeah, we could rotate him with Partey. Some guy came in my chat and said, lol, you're a clown, rotating with Partey. And I was sitting there thinking, like, mate, you know Partey don't stay fit for more than 5 games. And we're in Europa League, we're in FA Cup, we're looking to get Champions League. Like, going forward, yeah, that guy. And do you know he's only on $3,500 a week, Terry, at Brighton?
Well, I was looking at it and I'm like, it's mad.
You earn more than him every week.
I know I do.
Area titles.
I do earn more than him. I do. Which is crazy because he plays.
If only you knew, he'd quit Brighton and become a YouTuber.
I know. I'm not gonna say how much more I earn than him, but I earn enough.
You're doing well. Big up to you, mate. You deserve everything. Told you that.
Lee, do you think Arsenal's current success is because of Arteta, or the players have just matured this season? Could another manager do this?
That's a good question. I see somebody say earlier, I'm slightly diverting, but I am answering the question. Yeah, saying, yeah, we've just got to go with Mikel Arteta's talent ID because the signings have been brilliant. And I was like, Runnison, Marie, Cedric, like Turner. Like, there's been a lot of flops that we've had at this football club under this manager. I don't know. Maybe it's a bit of everything. Maybe it's the fact that the players are all brought into it, which is what happens when you get a younger squad. They're going to listen to an ex-player that's played for the club, worked under Pep, that they're making their way, and he has the balls to be able to get rid of Mesut Ozil, get rid of Aubameyang, and then all of a sudden they sit there and think, shit, if I don't listen to what this manager says, I'm next. No, Pepe's another one who's gone. So, and the players have stepped up. Martin Odegaard's been decent for the last 10 games. First 4 or 5, I thought he was a bit iffy, but he's been very good. Saka's gone up a level this season. I think Martinelli's always been sick, but this manager's finally letting him play every week. Jesus being in the club after winning multiple titles it's a bit of everything. And the fact that the club have actually gone out there and shown a bit of intent as well. So, yeah, man, it's maybe a bit of everything. I wouldn't just pin it on the manager, but it's a bit of everything. The club have backed the manager, so you have to put it on the club as well, which is why all the Cronky out shout's gone away as well.
Yeah, listen, I think it's a combination of both those things. But if it's about the players maturing, who brought the players in, their style, their profile, who got them to this point, we can't want managers. Like, managers are so important to the way teams operate. What's more important for Arsenal fans right now, aside from the celebrate, if you're going to look at things deeply, is, are you set up for life after Arteta? Now, Arteta could be here another 3, 5, 10 years. You don't know. That's what's more important, though, to know that if he leaves, you're not just going to go in a completely new direction, need a whole squad overhaul, and it's going to be crazy. And I think that's what they're doing. I think Arsenal are building something that is long-term sustainable. Mikel Arteta
Oh,
is one of the
100%.
leaders, he's one of the leaders of that. And I think for me, I think like I look at it from the point of view where I think to myself, it's a combination of those things, but Arteta is helping to lead the club in that direction. He's helping them build for the future, and everything else. But yeah, massive credit needs to go to Arteta, especially to overcome. Unless he hasn't won anything yet, and he doesn't.
They won an FA Cup.
Won the FA Cup. Sorry, that my apologies. I meant is he hasn't won one of the big trophies yet. So we have to maybe slow down a little bit of the superlatives. But at the same time, to get through the pressure he did when he was losing and people were calling for his head, if he comes through that and ends up winning, the only other time I've seen a manager legitimately do that is Fergie.
Yeah.
Fergie would be the only manager
where Mark Robins saved his career.
Well, yeah, where a manager where fans were calling for his head, and then he goes on to win them a league title or a Champions League. I don't remember in my lifetime in England a manager being a big club being on the edge of being sacked and then turning it around. So if he ends up doing that, he deserves like huge.
And listen, if he ends up winning the league, I will fully apologize to him. Yeah, you heard. I've told you this, Terry, in text messages, and you've heard it here direct right now. If he ends up winning the title this season, I'll sit there and say, fair play. I didn't expect this to happen. He's got me on board. He's got me on board. Yeah, and he's done above and beyond what I thought he could do. But we still have to do that. And if you ask any Arsenal fan, and you get a lot on your channel, if he don't win the league, is that failure? They'll all say every single, the aim's top 4, Terry. The aim's never top 4 for Arsenal. Forget all these Wenger rights. Yeah, the aim is win the title or compete for a title, which is why I always said if he competes for a title until the last season, the last month of the season, then I'll back off him. But if you get any Arsenal fan in this chat or in any of your other streams and say to them, if he don't win the league, is that failure? No, Terry, the aim this season was top 4. They don't like to change the gatepost and the goalpost mid-season because it don't fit with the narrative of, well, the aim was full. They always want to cover the loss to back the manager. Mate, no manager's bigger than Arsenal Football Club, Terry, and no player's bigger than Arsenal Football Club. The club is the star. Big up Kenny Ken. Yeah, and you said this earlier. These people that don't want a player to come in because it hinders their favourite player, it's the same with a manager, Terry. The aim at the start of the season, cool, was top 4. But now we're sat top and 5 points clear, linked to Mudryk, linked to Felix. Everything's going great. We're playing great football, second best defence in the league, scoring. We've played the best football this season out of any team. I'd say Newcastle is second, Brighton are third, then City. Yeah, I'd say Man United are probably 5th. Yeah, but we have played the best football this season. We've got some of the best players in the league on performances. So now the gateposts and goalposts should be up a level. But if you ask any of these Arsenal fans, oh no, top 4 is the aim. Well, no, it ain't. We're top. Now let's go for it. Yeah, and that is where I've always had an issue, and that is why I always get the ump with Arsenal fans, because if we don't win it, we never expected to anyway. Look at last season, Tel. 3 games to go, 4 points clear, sat 4th, finished 5th. Nobody expected us to get top 4 anyway. They did when you were sat 4 points clear with 3 to go.
Yeah. I think again, this is what I say with Arsenal. If you're sitting 5 points clear and you sign Mudryk and Joao Felix, there's got to be an expectation change. At the same time, though, this is what people don't understand. It's polarization of the world. Just because you then maybe don't win it doesn't mean your reaction has to be sack the manager. It can just be, I'm disappointed, but we go again next year. It's almost like people are weird. People are very, very weird when it comes to everyone's just trying to protect themselves online. It's a little bit weird at times. Can Arsenal carry this on next season? I don't think so. I mean, they can. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think they can. I think they will. Yeah, I agree with that completely. This is fun. Terry, you've been cooked differently on Twitter this week.
I bet he's fuming.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I mean, do you know one of the funniest things happened this week? Obviously, I put the green tick up for Cody Gakpo to Man United. And like, I'm very open. That means on. I use that as on. And I had people go, oh, you said it was complete. So nice.
Isn't your pinned tweet all of what the Football Terrace things are? But people don't check because it don't fit their narrative, does it?
Yeah, and it's cool. But do you know the funniest thing about Twitter is once I tweet something, sometimes I do it instantly, sometimes I leave an hour, then I do it. Once it's been out a little while, I then mute that conversation because I can't keep up to date with, like, without flexing, because this ain't a flex, it's just a reality. Every time I go to notifications on Twitter, it's at 20 plus. It's never beyond 20 plus. So I mute, like, I've already tweeted the three or four tweets I've put out since we went live. They're now muted, so I'll see no more responses. So the irony in it is this: I might be getting cooked by 1 million people, but my Twitter has grown by nearly 1,000 people this week. My YouTube views are up. We had the biggest December in the history of the football terrace. I don't even see the crap because it's just muted anyway. So I couldn't care less. Do you know what I mean? I'm living my best life, doing a job that I love, and everything I said about Gakpo to United was true. Personal opinion on it was we were advanced, we were working hard on it, but if Liverpool came in, they would take him away from us, and they did. At the same time, Liverpool fans said, you said that you were progressing the deal. I'm like, but you guys are saying you hijacked us. We did. Well, if we weren't in for him and it wasn't progressing, then how did you hijack it? They went silent. Like, that's the crazy bit about being cooked. It's like in your cooking of me, you're proving that I was right, which is mad to me. So thank you. Did you see the French referee in the PSG game that sent off Neymar for diving? Got more balls in the Premier League refs.
He got sent off for diving.
I didn't see that.
He should get sent off for being a coward, mate. Imagine going fifth on a penalty in the most crucial penalty shootout, of the World Cup for your team, and you sit there doing a John Terry waiting to take the fifth, and then you want to cry and make it about you. Nah, man, coward.
Yeah, it's crazy. Elon here says that these two only care about milking their incel fan base. Do you know what I would say, right? I would say that I don't think again, I don't know what an incel sounds like via text, but most of my fan base are good people. I've met hundreds of them at different events that we've done. They're good people. So my friend, like, you're obviously not part of the football terrace community. My football terrace community is absolutely amazing. Great people. And yeah, like, in terms of interested in about milking them, it's free of charge. The content we make is free. So how the hell are we milking anyone, Elon Reeves? It sounds to me more like this. There's two things that are going on in Elon's head right now. Two things. One,
he wishes he was Musk.
Yeah. He wishes mum slept with Musk and not Reeves. That's the first thing. The second thing is you probably tried to be a creator and nobody wanted to listen to you and you feel sad about it. Or thirdly, your favorite content creator doesn't get as many views as us and it makes you angry. I get a lot of that, right? Do you know whose viewers never give me shit? Don Robbie's, stroke AFTV's, Goldbridge's. Me and Goldbridge, when we were having beef years ago, we did, but since me and him cleared everything up, they don't give me any crap. None of the big boys say shit to me. It's only the people that are smaller or failures whose fans come for me. The actual content creators are cool with me. Their viewers hate it though. So which one are you, Elon? Did your mum sleep with the wrong guy? Are you a foul content creator? Or is your favorite a lot smaller than me and Lee? And I'm just talking in YouTube sense only, and that makes you angry. Which is it, my brother? Because
in another sense, if he wants her, you already know that cat out the
bag. We don't charge for what we do. This is free. So
it's free, mate. You had to click on this to watch it. Yeah, so you replied, you've had your 15 seconds of fame. Adios, amigo. What's wrong with these people? It's Christmas and New Year, man. Get over yourself.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange one to me. You're a liar, Terry, about what, Jordan Brown? What have I lied about?
I love how these people can never spell either.
Do you know the funniest thing I love about there's a guy that did it
sorry to take the piss. I know you're dyslexic, Terry, but like
real talk. It is what it is. But this guy the other day was like, "Oh, you've lied about that transfer story." And one of my viewers already commented back and he said, "How did he lie? He showed on the screen what journalist said it. Terry didn't make it up." The guy's like, "Yeah, well, he shouldn't spread their lies." The deal happened 2 days later. It was great.
I've been waiting for that laugh for an hour and 30 minutes. Do it again.
Somebody said even Fabrizio was saying that Gakpo was enough. So what Fabrizio actually said is that it's all pretty much done. It's just on Man United now whether they want to act or not and put the official final bid in.
This is the thing with Gakpo, right? They've got the same agent, him and Ten Hag, yeah? If Ten Hag wanted him, he signs for United. Thank you. Yeah, if Ten Hag wanted it, I've got a servant and everything. Do you know what I mean? Like, big up the servant. You good? Yeah, she's good. If Ten Hag wanted him, he signs for Ten Hag. Look at when we had Martinez in our back pocket And then he phones up. It's come out later. He phoned Ten Hag and said, "I'm going to Man United. Do you want me or not?" Done deal, because he wanted him. Yeah. Now Arsenal fans, oh, he's too small as a centre back. Yeah. Well, no, like he's not too small. He wanted him. He got him. Yeah. Gakpo, same agent as Ten Hag. Ten Hag didn't want him. Good luck at Liverpool. See you later.
Well, there we go. This is what the Riddler here says. Joao Felix agrees to join Arsenal. Really, Terry? Really, Terry? You devil, you. Well, no, the article. This is the article, my friend. So the article says, okay, Joao Felix preferred destination is to join Arsenal. So my statement is, he's agreed to join Arsenal over Man United and Chelsea. Now I'm not going to put that whole thing in the title. Do you know the craziest thing is about the titles on YouTube? Do you know who taught me how to do YouTube titles? YouTube. So like YouTube, I was in a meeting with my manager at YouTube, and he literally said, I would have put, my title would have been 5 years ago, I'd have titled it, Joao Felix decides to join Arsenal over Man United and Chelsea. And it would have got no clicks. Nobody would have been interested. They taught me, they were like, shorten it, do this, that's how you do it. So I'm like,
the better.
And I remember, like, I'm verified on Twitter as well. You can't get verified on Twitter and get your plaque if you're deemed clickbait. And they do like a 3 to 4 week review of your channel once you pass the landmarks to review your content, what you talk about, the thumbnails and titles to deem whether you're eligible for your award. So the fact is, like, people that, and by the way, Riddler, you're joking. You're only playing. That's the bit that makes me laugh the most about it. And by the way, the whole transfer deals on. There's a big YouTuber that called me out for it the other day. He's now started using is on in his titles now. I've seen journalists using it, and I'm going to admit that's why I started it. I was like, I'm going to start my own way of titling transfers and see how long until other people start copying it when it works. And now people are copying it. It's literally a social experiment, and I'm keeping my way because I like my way.
Do you know what I find
funny? Hilarious.
Right? And I want to highlight this comment very quickly in a second, right? But do you know what I find funny, Terry, right? People dig you out, for clickbaiting a title when they click on stories from journalists and media outlets that clickbait their titles. So I'll give an example. Arsenal in advanced talks with the Ukrainian Neymar. I have genuinely seen that title from the Daily Mirror. Yeah, that headline, Ukrainian Neymar. You're like, oh my God, who's this guy? You click on it, it's Mudryk. Well, he's not the Ukrainian Neymar, is he? Let's be real, because by the time he got to that age, Neymar had already scored about 200 goals. Like, come on, this guy has scored maybe 50. Yeah, he's not the Ukrainian Neymar, right? So you click on it, and then they call you out, for not putting that, but doing something similar. This one I want to call out. Lee's subscriber rate has slowed down massively. Now Arsenal are doing well. Long may it continue, bro. As long as my views don't slow down, I don't care. I ain't paid off subs. I'm paid off views. Subs for show, views for dough. Yeah, well, and on my second channel that I've not uploaded for 450 odd days, that sub base has gone up nearly 1,000. Yeah, in the last 2 weeks. Yeah, just by me promoting it on Insta and putting it out on videos, which I will be uploading to in the new year. So thank you anyway for your concern, but I'm doing all right, mate.
Motivator here. Oh, he did put a super chat out, and I can't find it. Let me go back and I found it on the internals, but I didn't see it come up on the screen. Bear with me a second, mate, because it is calling you out, Lee. But
I'm used to being called out.
No, I know you are. I missed it initially. I must have been.
If I cared, Terry, I would have cried into my pillow. Yeah, my Ozil pajamas, my Wenger pajamas, and all that. Do you know what I mean? I get called out every day. I still upload every day and stream every day.
I know you do, mate. I know you do. Like I said to people, like, listen, I title my videos the way I want to title them. I make my thumbnails how I want to make them. Like for years, and I never used to be very good at it, and I've got better when I put the player's head into like the shirt of the club. I got that idea because that's what a lot of the newspapers used to do. And I used to think, oh, that looked good. And I worked out how to do it. That triggers some people. They're like, oh, it really misleading.
You need to start learning how to block and mute certain words.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
So then you don't. Yeah, Terry, I've got about 300 words muted.
Lee made a video on October the 18th, 2022, titled "Odegaard ain't the guy if you want to win the league. Please just shut it, Tintin. You haven't got a clue, Tintin."
Thank you. Man said Tintin. Sorry, has Odegaard won the league yet? Has Odegaard won the league yet? Sorry, he hasn't. My bad. Yeah, come back to me when he wins the title.
There we go. Clay, thank you very much for the kind words there. I do appreciate it, my friend. There was another comment I was going to put up. Where do you think Liverpool will finish this year, Lee?
Depends what they do this upcoming window. Because I still think they could sneak top 4. But if they don't go and sign some players this January, I think they're doomed. I think they'll finish 6th, 7th. But if they go and sign some decent players this January, I think they'll get top 4. They got the experience. They got the manager. Nunes needs to be dumped. He needs to be binned because that guy just ain't it. But they've obviously got Diaz and what's the other guy's name? Jota. They're injured until March, I think. If they go and sign some players, obviously they've signed Gakpo. Yeah, if they go and sign a couple more players, 2, 3 more players this January, I think they'll get top 4. But if they don't, 6th, 7th.
Wow. Yeah, I'm still going top 4 myself. Gunner King here says, what's this about Joao Felix? Obviously, we'll put the report up again in case you didn't see it. United, Arsenal, and Chelsea trying to get the trying to get the price down. But Joao Felix's preferred destination is to join Arsenal. And my point is this: it can't be his preferred destination unless he's agreed, either verbally, mentally, physically, to join Arsenal over those clubs. That's all. Yeah, emotionally, that's all we've stated. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. Do you know, it's funny as well, though, because Ben Jacobs and I talk a lot about this. And Ben's sometimes too detailed in these breakdowns of transfers for people to always listen. And I'm like, if you could boil down your thoughts to like 3 sentences or 3 bullet points, people would believe you more. People actually don't like detailed analysis because normally you take away from something really positive that you said, where you're like, Arsenal were the most advanced on the personal terms. However, they may struggle to meet the fee, which would probably give an advantage to Man United. United and Arsenal fans will listen to that and go, well, which one's on top? I don't really know, so I'm not going to say anything. If it just said Arsenal were the most advanced on personal terms of Joao Felix and shut up after that, people would go, oh, look what Arsenal are doing. And then a week later, you might turn around and go, Man United are now in the race because they're willing to pay more. But they were both the truth at the beginning. That's how certain journalists, by the way, have learned and become the quote-unquote tier ones, is they word it in ways where like everybody's happy at every single moment, but they've never really committed themselves to any one thing.
Yeah, like, they cover all bases.
Yeah, it's very clever. It's so clever. I'm like, I'm learning from you guys. I like that.
Why do you think there's certain YouTube channels that get more views than us? Yeah, because they cover all bases, Terry. Yeah, as simple as that.
Gunner King here says, someone just told me that talks are broken down with Mudryk. Is that true? Well, not with Mudryk directly. I mean, Ben Jacobs has interviewed him 3 times, I believe, this season. And in each occasion, the guy has told him directly, I want to go to Arsenal. The player wants to be an Arsenal player. I've seen nothing credible to say it's broken down.
I've never seen a player twerk so much for a football club in my life.
He wants it bad. He wants it bad.
He's like literally pouring it on the line, like sticking it out there. Like when we were playing against West Ham on his Instagram, he's got the Mac set up on the iPad and he's watching the game. It's like, come on, mate. Like, do you know what? In a way, I think that's kind of disgusting to Shakhtar. Yeah, like real talk. I said this the other day and I got ripped for it. It's like, now imagine he comes to Arsenal and he smashes it at Arsenal and then Real Madrid or PSG or someone come in for him. Would he do the same thing? So whilst it's funny, yeah, that it's happening and it's Shakhtar on the receiving end of that, if it was Arsenal on the receiving end of that and it was Madrid and he was twerking for Madrid whilst being Arsenal, would we be happy with that? I'm not too sure.
You wouldn't. Gunner King, I have no idea whether things are broken down with Shakhtar. I haven't personally.
He's going to sign for Arsenal. We all know this, man.
So, yeah, there we
go. Whether it's this window or summer, he's signing. I think we will sign him this January. I can't lie. I do think it'll happen.
There we go. Listen, Lee, thank you for coming on, my friend. I really do appreciate it. Viewers.
I'm known as Tintin from now on, Terry.
Tintin, I like that. Tintin's great. But equally, I shared a tweet out saying, sharing the news that Joao Felix reportedly wants Arsenal over United, and now United fans are angry with me, and it's like, I didn't make the report up. This is the irony in it. This is what people are actually asking for. Deep this, viewers. You want me, someone who covers news for the top 6, to lie and or hold back news and not discuss it just so you feel better? Weird. Like maybe that's the younger generation.
Make everyone happy, Terry.
Yeah,
As
fuck
long as
that.
you make Jessica happy and your children happy and your family happy, you can sleep with both eyes shut on probably aloe vera pillows, knowing you, Terry.
Exactly. Listen, viewers, thank you all very, very much. Take care. Goodbye. God bless. We'll see you all again soon. Thank you.